This past couple of weeks, I've been working a lot with the rose, and the rose is very fortunate. I have a garden with a lot of climbing roses, and right now they're in bloom, and this is the most prolific red rose that's blooming by my front door. It's a climber, and it's just got so many buds and blossoms, and petals are starting to drop and fall, and it's just a real glorious sight. So I wanted to go into some of the a little more esoteric reasons of what it is about the rose that calls me and really makes me want to paint the rose. I've followed a lot of the paths of teachings that have come out from the mystery schools, and one particular path that I have really followed of many of the meditations has been through the instruction of a man by the name of Jim Self. He has a website called Mastering Alchemy. And alchemy simply means transmutation. There's many ways to transmute. And of course, it's all about turning lead to gold and that kind of thing. But really, the gold is when we come to a place of peace and well-being and total harmony with ourselves. That we can be very conflicted as human beings and have a lot of arising thoughts that don't serve us or our humanity, community, family. And if we're called to this, then we want to work on ourselves, and with the ideal that that is then transmuted so that we become better people. And then our whole environment shifts around us. So I've actually been working in this area for quite a while. I followed the path of shamanism and of very ancient Buddhist teachings as well through the Tibetan tradition that was an old lineage called Dzogchen, which is really deepened from the Bon, the original shamanic, I guess you could call it, spirituality of the Tibetan area people. But most recently it is this work with Jim Self called Mastering Alchemy, and it uses the power of the rose. And I'll just give you a short version, and maybe this will help you as well. When a thought arises that I recognize does not serve me, in my mind I can take a few quiet moments and I imagine the rose, and I bring the rose into my mind, the thought that doesn't serve me, that maybe makes me feel angry or fearful or judgmental or blaming or guilty or shamed. And I take the rose image in my mind and I basically hold it to that thought. Maybe it's a conversation. And I imagine the energetics of the rose sucking the energy of that thought, that feeling, that doesn't serve me, and it just sucks it into the rose until it's so full, and then I take that rose out of my sphere of, you could call it auric body, and in my mind again I imagine that very full rose that, like a vacuum cleaner, has sucked up all that energy. And I imagine it exploding, and I see the petals and everything just flying like a firework. And I watch it to the point that then I see my hand holding what was left, maybe the wooded stem of the rose. Everything else has disappeared, and along with it, that thought form that wasn't serving me disappears as well. Actually, absolutely miraculously, to the point that I'm in this place of, what was that I was thinking about? Now sometimes I can have very stubborn thoughts and it arises again. So I use another rose and I do the same and I repeat it. Maybe I have to repeat it 2, 3, 4 times. But always it comes down to, in the end after this, that I have forgotten what it was. I've transmuted. It's almost as if it's no longer in my reality at all. Did it even happen? I don't even need to search for it. I've just let it go. You know the expression, and somebody says, oh, well, just let that thought go, or, you know, that doesn't serve, just let it go. And it's very hard to do, but I can tell you, when I use the energy of the rose, it works, it goes. Sometimes if I have a thought that is really, really negative, I pull up that rose and it may not be red, maybe it's orange and green stripes or black checks or something. My imagination can really imagine a rose that is like, it's almost like I need a wrathful rose, a rose that is really gonna take that thought form and really suck it up and then take it out of my auric field, and then I explode it. So there is some thoughts for you. There is so much more to those meditations and those teachings, and I really encourage you to go on to Jim Self's website called Mastering Alchemy. He's a real master at giving fabulous information and imparting it in a way that is very simple, offering really good meditations as well. So beautiful, beautiful tools there. My understanding is, and I do truly believe it, is that the rose has a huge high vibration, and it's vibration that is of love, of the highest caliber. It's some of the highest caliber vibration, I believe, in our world. And so that's why I believe the rose is so effective. So I invite you to try this. It's really, really powerful in my experience, the power of the rose. And the paintings that I do, it's because I'm revering that energy, that power, that beauty, that innate quality that the rose gives through its fragrance, through its visual beauty, and through time, through centuries and centuries of work that people have done with the rose. So, thank you.